So good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another scene for Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York. We're in 10.8 and family just left a meeting at the Rock, conveniently close to home. And are probably even just now striding up onto the porch of the cabin that their pack inhabits.
Yeah, Aiden is lighting a joint on the way. Well, that's some of that good stuff. Walking along very calmly, smoking it as he inhales it through his nose. That trick that he does at 10-point love so much. Eventually, he'll kind of come to the steps of the cabin and kind of just will stop and turn, looking over at her, and we'll look out at her. She's walking up behind him. So, what did you make of all that?
And she'll cast kind of a measuring look at the whole at the joint, if only because, well, as long as he doesn't overindulge. She'll still be kind of hovering over one of those travel mugs of coffee as they're walking up, and it'll take her a moment to realize that he has actually stopped to turn and to regard her properly. At which point she'll kind of pull up short, blinking a time or two. It seems like a proper idea, right?
Which one?
Turning our eyes beyond our immediate borders, out into our protectorate. We've already seen that there are some kin beyond even that could use our help. How can we do anything for them if we can't take care of those close to home?
He'll nod. So what did you make of the meeting itself? Well, the ideas proposed were all very good ones. The Unity one, well, we'll have a talk about that in a minute, but what did you think of the meeting itself, the people there?
She just kind of rubs lightly at the side of her face, thinking, still holding the coffee cup like in that kind of perched up under her chin kind of posture. I'd say it was the usual suspects, Shreya. But at least most of them seemed to understand the importance of what the new worm foe is trying to do.
Not. Some have good ideas. I particularly like Katja's, actually. That girl has a brain. It's just a shame. Well, it's just a shame.
There's a light shrug dismissing the, what exactly is a shame.
He'll look over. Not sure why the Coggy Fenris was there, though.
Simon?
Yeah.
He's always lingering in the wings.
Maybe he should step up. He's in a ruin.
Perhaps he should take some time to remember to which tribe he belongs before he worries about stepping up. The last time he stepped up, he made a fool of himself.
Maybe you should worry about that less than trying to smoke the good shit.
So another light shrug, kind of an I give up gesture.
I just think the guy's pretty hopeless. No, but Katja has a good plan. The girl's got some sense. He kind of rub his chin. Might talk to her.
Regardless of how she got there, she is an exceptional bone knower. And that is not always a bad thing.
No, it's not. No. Like I said, it's just a shame.
A lot of things have changed, Shreya. Perhaps this will go better.
It's just good points. Plus, she can keep up with me. He smiles at himself.
Kind of cast him that little side glance, like the fuck.
At the moot. That moot. She well, she made some good points against me. I like women who can banter back, not too aggressively, but they have the wit and the intellect to match. I like people like that as well. They're not forceful, but they're intelligent. I like that. It's a good quality in a philodox. And regardless of where she came from, I have my opinions on that. And she has said some things which have irked me a little bit. She's a good philodox. I'd be petty if I was saying otherwise.
And her lips turn in for just a moment, kind of pressing into a line, and hey, look, coffee. Essentially. Happens.
He just nods. Shame I can't say much for the rest of him, but hey, shrug. It is the way it is.
It is, Raya. It is.
I just thought it was funny. They're all talking about Unity, and how many of them are aware that they all have files on them. Wayne, because he's walking inside.
And that is another subject. She's just gonna not engage that. She's just gonna be sipping her coffee again as she follows him through the door.
Just thought that would be very interesting. They're all talking about open Unity and all that. It's a good idea in theory, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, it seems that you will see it sooner rather than later, Raya.
We'll see. When people start dying on missions because some of the others are incompetent, then we'll see how Will manages. So far, I like his ideas. He's practical. He's thinking. It's good quality. We'll see how he does when crunch time kicks down.
Even those of us who don't get along, Raya, few want to be responsible for the death of another guru through ineptitude or incompetence or outright spite.
Many are, and they don't take responsibility for it.
Of course, Raya.
Well, that's true when you think about it. I mean, I take full responsibility for a look down, click his tongue against his teeth. I take full responsibility for Tobias' death.
There's some things that one can't take responsibility for, Raya. Sometimes the cards just fall as they fall.
But we still have to
happen quickly.
We still have to take responsibility for it. We still have to own that and see it through. Do you know?
Raya, the only thing responsible for that death was that skull pig. There was no poorly executed strategy. There was no poorly made strategy. He simply fought the worm.
But it's up to the person who took charge of that to take the responsibility, if not the beta of that mission, to take responsibility for the ones who died, to ensure that the theaters give them the proper send-off. It's that responsibility as a leader. 10 point.
She'll adopt something of an uncomfortable expression and just kind of, look off to a different part of the cabin. Hey, look, books, essentially.
Don't do your deflection technique, 10 point. See what you're going to say.
I have already said, Raya, there's no point in arguing with you for the sake of arguing.
I didn't think we were arguing. You look confused. I thought we were just having a talk.
Apologies. Misspoke, Raya. It wasn't an argument. Not really.
I just thought it was more discussion than anything. I respect your opinion. I like to hear it.
It earns him that usual kind of side glance. The just assessing side glance.
Nah, he seems legit. He respects it. She's given him good counsel before.
She'll loosen up into a Very small smile.
You like go to the fridge, take out some food, start eating it, you know, pop open the drink and look over at her. Well, at least the scouting corps idea worked, right?
There's another light nod. She'll essentially be shadowing him as he goes in, though albeit staying out of the way, so she's not like between him and some counter space to pull out and prep or heat up whatever food he finds. It's a good idea, Raya.
You give a good idea actually as well, miss.
She kind of gives a light gesture up, vaguely in the direction of the ceiling. If they can do a task for us, they can do similar tasks out in the city.
It's a good idea. I like it. It could probably help out a lot of us very greatly out there. It's very practical. I'm impressed.
And she'll be doing her best not to look just tickled pink by the praise. Though her eyebrows shoot up as she turns her eyes as well up to the ceiling. The chiminage may be a bit of a challenge. I'll think of something.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to. I'm going to have to be careful with that.
Of course, right?
You lean against the fridge and look over at her. You seem less tense.
There's another thoughtful little side glance. How do you mean, Ryan?
You were going around very tense looking lately. I was worried. It's good to see you relax.
The faint smile takes its place again. You have made a point of reminding me, Raya. It can't be doom and gloom all the time, otherwise. How do we find the will to fight?
Yeah. A nod. I'm going to go for Adrian soon, 10 point.
You remember all that tension she didn't have?
Oh, he'll look over at her like to be honest, she gets the impression he's expecting her to be tense.
There's just like physically there's obviously shifting in expression, but there's also some shifting in body as she is probably propped with hips kind of propped against the counter. It's just she shifts a bit, so it's her back leaning against it and has her arms tucked in a bit, more closed behavior. Are you still planning to go home, Raya?
Of course. I can't not, do you know?
Of course, Raya. Do you plan to take us with you?
If you want to come with me, you can. I ain't gonna stop you.
I always want to come with you, Raya. I just don't want to be a burden.
You're not a burden. You're my packmate. I know you're gonna have to be ready for home. But you're a strong woman and a strong menace. A strong guru. And I know you'll push through it.
I'm not worried about me, Raya.
Smile a bit. Besides, once I get Adrian, any Clears or Fostering gives you shit, I'll just fucking slap him with my rank. You wink playfully.
Yeah, he gets some small measure of comfort, of relaxation out of her. She's not quite opened back up to, comfortably propping around, but a bit.
The only worry I have, and Banshee will be well received, do you know, is Dallas.
I think that if Dallas joins us, Raya, and acts the part of her tribe, the one that she's chosen rather than the one that she was born to, she will have no issues.
Well, that's the fucking problem, isn't it? You smile a bit. Just getting her to act like a fucking kid.
She knows her tribe, Raya.
We'll
If
see.
she can put on a face, it should
We'll
help.
see. We'll see, 10 point. You'll smile. She's in a room. She should be well comfortable with this.
There's a small terse nod in agreement.
However, I'm going to give her my own warning if she goes over there and does anything. Because it's home. Home is far different to here. I'd be dead if I was at home.
There's an assessing look on that one, too.
When you think about it. But we make do with the things we have here, right?
We do, Raya.
It's a true guru that learns to adapt. Now, I'm not saying we become liberal or any of that shit. I'm just saying, learn to adapt to your surroundings.
Of course. And as much as this place is strange, and as much as it's different, she brings up a hand idly again, just kind of scratching lightly at her jawline. Something that gives her an excuse to break eye contact, really. I find I'm growing comfortable with it.
I am and I aren't. I hate the way that people, as he's walking around and takes a drink and probably passes her one as well. I just hate the way people go, well, you're not really traditional and all this. He'll look over when they never really knew what tradition was in the first place.
And she accepts the handoff fairly readily, finishes the last of her coffee, and sets the mug aside. We'll start kind of idly tapping, the tips of her nails on, I assume, the bottle he's handed her.
Oh yeah, he's passed her over one.
I wouldn't concern myself with the words of those who speak without proper knowledge on the subject, right?
He'll smile and look over at her. A lot of them seem to be the ones I'm encountering. Well, the more I go up the chain, seem to have that philosophy.
And there's a shrug. Those of higher rank, those holding considerable position in the Sept, have seen more of the world.
Yes and no. Some just like the sound of their own voice, and some, they assume they've seen one thing, but never really truly see the different layers of the thing. Do you get what I'm saying tonight?
A faint nod.
I just find it interesting. We look out the window. They're all talking about unity, but they'll never agree on anything.
It's easy to chase an impossible goal, even knowing full well that maybe it's even easier knowing that it's something you won't achieve. Because then you can say you're striving for something that is good.
Honestly, I think unity could be achieved, but it will require everyone to admit their feelings, not just the ones they like to paint as the bad people. That's what I think. if you're going to be preaching that shite, might as well be honest with yourself about it. Not pretend like everything's fine. You just shrug. It's just my opinion.
If unity were so easy, Raya, the nation would have achieved it by now.
No, that's true. It's just... I hate that... Oh yeah, peace and love and hold hands. And we know there's issues. We should have the fucking capacity to see it. Do you hear them out there? We're creatures of rage, yet we bottle it down and fester it. We never let it out in spades.
It's not inaccurate, Raya.
Just frustrates me. And then when you do let it out, you lean forward, you're a divisive figure. They don't like when you get in their face.
The lips kind of press slightly into a line again, and especially as he leans in, her head just kind of leans ever so slightly back, making room.
I just shrug. I just get frustrated sometimes, thinking about it. That's my job, right, though?
It is, Raya, and I know you do. She'll also be taking glances out the window here and there. Try not to frustrate yourself too much.
It's nothing. It's nothing bad. I shake my head at it.
It is what it is, Raya.
How many people actually know me? How many people actually, to be honest, I don't know a single goddamn thing about Katja. I don't know a single goddamn thing about fucking... Well, sister. Jesus, he'll like lean back. And like think for a second, clicking his fingers. Raphael, how much do we know about each other?
A fair point, Raya.
Now, like, none of us are immune to this 10 point. That's the key bit. And to be honest, it's the key bit about Felix too. What I was saying to him the other night. How much do we actually know about each other? How much of us are actually willing to try and know? I'll give Felix Sullivan this. He actually tries to understand us. We try to understand him to the best of our knowledge. But it's that level of respect that makes us want to talk to him. How can we ever give each other respect when none of us will give each other it in the first place?
There's a nod. There's a lot of expectation, Raya. A lot of wanting, not a lot of giving.
It's not even expectation, it's more demanding when you think about it. You should understand my point of view. Well, how do I understand your point of view when I don't know you at all? And then you don't know me at all. You know? How can
It's
we
just
ever...
kind of a helpless shrug.
I just think... That's all. Sorry, you kind of smile at her. Just lost myself.
I know.
You just have somebody to listen to, that listens to me, right? Smile a bit at her.
And she smiles in return. Again, taking a worried glance out the window. And finally, looking off towards where the sun sets, she narrows her eyes faintly, kind of assessing about where it stands on the horizon. We need to go soon to the right master.
I got plenty of time. What are you so worried about?
And I'm not going to make you roll anything. She just kind of gives her head a light shake as if dismissing the notion. Nothing, Raya.
You lean back and take a drink. Nothing.
Nothing that perhaps should be broached before we go on this meeting, right?
I see, so it's important. You're worried it might affect my state of mind? Well, then it's obviously important, then.
It may fall on me to confess what I've done, Raya, but I know you won't be pleased.
I see. And which do you think is better? You letting me know there's something may be wrong and then not telling me, and it's in the back of my mind? Or you just straight telling me?
You've told me not to lie to you, Raya, and you asked.
You still haven't answered my question. And the smile just widened slightly.
And she's still just kind of playing with the bottle. She still hasn't even cracked it open yet. And drops her eyes to that. I would rather not have mentioned it at all, Raya.
But
But it's in the open air now.
I see. He'll lick his lips slightly, finishing the drink and putting it on the table. So if you hadn't given yourself away, you wouldn't have told me.
And she real quick, like, shoots up a glance. Again, her usual, just brief assessing glance. She knows his expression well enough not to need much time to read it.
Intrigue.
I have
Sorry.
every intention of telling you, Raya. I just would have waited until after this meeting.
And how long have you been bottling down to this?
And the eyes drop back down to the bottle.
Is this something you've heard today? Per se.
No, Raya.
Oh. Oh. Well, how long ago have you heard this?
It was kind of a cringe. It has been weighing on my mind for some time, Raya.
I see. Well, kind of lean back. So, you tell me there's this big important thing right before a meeting when you had every opportunity to tell me long before this meeting ever came to. I don't know, Tim, but I'm struggling to see the dilemma you had.
It was more important to focus on the battle in front of us. And then to focus on recovering in the wake of it, Raya.
I see, so it was during the war you found this out. Okay.
It's
Notice
not
the way I'm prying this out of you. I do notice.
so much something heard as something said, Raya.
Something said, okay. All right then. So what is something said? Since you seem to only now do it, confide in me something. I mean, it speaks volumes, but what is it you've after saying, or who has said something?
I didn't want it to weigh on your mind, Raya.
That's when the smile disappears. What do you know what I need to weigh on my mind, 10 Point?
There's a light shake of head. The eyes are still Yeah, they flick up occasionally, but especially as the smile fades, yeah. They go more solidly, just kind of back down on the bottle in her hands. She gives her head a light shake. Nothing, Raya.
Now I'm hearing you or someone saying something, and word did not get back to me. What does that say?
I told you wouldn't be happy, Raya.
I see. And you continuously dodging that. It's making me very unhappy. In fact, it's not even unhappiness, to be honest. It's more disappointment. I thought I gave you a lesson on this.
Her overall expression, like her eyes have already fallen, but her overall expression falls considerably. You did, Raya.
I've never had to give you a reminder of a lesson.
It never seemed to be a good time, Raya. Time where it
See?
wouldn't distract you from your work, from preparing.
Distract me from my work. When someone is saying something, or you have said something, which could reflect on me, this pack.
No. Not on
How do
you.
I know? How
Not
do
on
I
the
know?
pack.
And how do you know I don't measure it like that? How do you know, 10 Point?
And even with her eyes down, she finally kind of turns her head aside as he presses on it. Um, Kind of a passive way of showing throat as it'll bear the side of it. It is nothing that will reflect on you. It is nothing that will reflect on the pack.
In your eyes, but something, the information I could get could very much speak a far different volume.
Then you want me to tell you now, right?
Might as well get it over it, seeing as I'm shocked that you have been hiding it from so long from me.
And there is a brief period, a minute or two, probably more like just a minute, of her kind of composing herself, getting steady, essentially bracing herself. We spoke to Felix all of a night ago, and you chastised me for letting something slip that I did not mean to. Felix is not the only one I've told.
Oh, I see. Oh, let's hear this. Who have you told this? Who have you given your name to now? Please don't tell me it's one of the people Dallas is creeping around with.
A tiny, tiny shake of head.
All right, that's better. Who?
There's marked hesitance and a growing sense of dread. I let myself be talked around Raya while I was speaking to Jacob.
He just leans back. Oh, what am I gonna do with you?
Well, she does not have a verbal response for that, though. He will get a distinct impression through the pack lake, at least, that she has a number of ideas what he might do. None of them are good.
Oh, 10 point. Oh. Oh.
At the time, I thought maybe if I gave him one small thing, if I gave him one thing, and then a way to act, if he wanted more. Like a trail of breadcrumbs, Raya.
He will raise his hand for you to stop speaking, looking down. It's slow and almost there's a smile emerging on his face.
Yep, as the hand comes up, or she just abruptly stops, potentially even mid-word.
So, you've given him the same trust, the same thing as your pack and your trusted ally for a bit of minor leverage. Is that what you're telling me?
Oop. It wasn't given in trust, Raya. It's the carrot on the stick.
Ah. But you gave him your name.
I regret it, Raya.
Oh, do you now? But yet you're so ready to defend him. Makes me wonder.
You've already opened my eyes, Raya.
Think about it this way. You've now given him something that you were only going to give to me and Dallas and Felix at one point. And you gave to Felix by accident. Does Banshee know your name?
There's a helpless little shrug.
Oh. I think that answer speaks for itself. Doesn't it?
Yes, Raya.
Shows who you put in priority, doesn't it? He steps forward.
She kind of shrinks a tiny bit.
I'm not gonna beat the fuckity fuck out of you. Even though I want to. Badly. No. I want you to sit with that. I want you to sit and dwell in that. That's your lesson, 10 point. Because the beating will heal you. Any cut I do will stitch itself, unless I decide to do something far nastier. But I'm not a savage. Instead, you get to wallow in a wound that won't heal. For a while, until you seek forgiveness. Or I determine you're worthy of forgiveness.
Another minuscule nod. I mean, you can feel kind of the bottom fall out emotionally, but no, she just stays very, very quiet and very still and ever so slightly smaller than normal. Just a little scrunched back and down.
I'm not going to send you away. No, God, no. But I want you to think about your priorities. The weight of what you've just done.
My eyes weren't open at the time, Raya.
He takes a rage. And she sees it.
She shrinks a little bit more.
And he says in actually an oddly quiet voice, "That's your excuse."
It was a mistake, Raya. I have no excuse.
Prove to me your worth, Moira. Because now your name means nothing to me. Because you're giving it away so willingly.
And she's still kind of keeping things as tamped down as possible, but you'll feel kind of an emotional crack there.
You feel that?
And she's still got her head turned fully away. Is probably pretty damn misty eyed by now, and there's again the tiny, barely there nod.
He'll lean down and she can feel his breath. Like he's, when Aiden gets really angry, that dry heaving. She can feel the beginning of that.
She cringes down just a tiny bit more.
The next time I hear you giving away your name so fleetingly, I'm going to beat the fuck out of you. I'm going to cut you. And I'm going to make you deliver it right to his doorstep. In fact, you're going to do it yourself. I will make you publicly shun him. Because guess what? Wartime is over. And you want to keep pushing me.
It won't happen again, Raya.
For your sake. It better not. This is not a warning. And he smiles, and it's savage. His eyes are like predatory. Because after this visit with the Right Master, you're going to be seen with something far different. Think about that.
Yes, Raya. Never again?
Prove it to me then. And I'll determine your forgiveness. I think that is the merciful option, don't you think?
Yes, Raya.
You walk over to his shillelagh and put it over his shoulder. And look at it. I know, Darcy. You're incredibly thirsty. You point the shillelagh right along 10 Point's nose, so like the tip of the wood touches her nose.
And again, she may loosen up a tiny bit, maybe stop shrinking quite so tensely down as he walks away to pick up the shillelagh. But come the point that it starts getting arced in her direction, she again just kind of winces.
It's not Balian you should be afraid of. It's not Banshee. It's not even me. What you did. It's the consequences of it. Moira. Well, we better get going, shouldn't we? And he'll put the shillelagh over his shoulder and begin to walk out.
And yeah, with that, she just kind of sets back, visibly kind of gulps, and we'll let him get a good couple strides ahead before she manages to get herself upright again. And obediently trailing behind. I've asked Felix to come with us, Raya. He'll be there.
Slow turn. Good. Very good. He'll walk towards her again, bat still over his shoulder, and lean down ever so closely. Way too fucking close, actually. Like, I mean, he is cheek to cheek as he moves past her cheek and right by her ear.
Yep. She just kind of stays frozen in place.
Are you afraid of me?
Oh, the silence draws on for a couple seconds because it's the trick question and not even fair. I am afraid of things I make you do, Raya.
Leans forward, and I mean, she locks eyes with him, and he stares at her. It's almost a twisting of his head.
She's not, I was gonna say she's not gonna have the conviction to hold that stare for more than a couple seconds.
Oh, even better. Right. The moment she looks down, the shillelagh tips her chin back up. So, I mean, those eyes, man. You know what I mean? That's all I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
He keeps the stare. Then why do you keep making me? Let the stare linger for 30 seconds. We'll begin walking.
And 10 points intestinal fortitude, thoroughly tested. He gets the, the frozen deer stare for as long as he holds, like forces her to hold the gaze, and then he'll get several steps ahead of her before she finds the nerve to start moving behind him again. And with that, I think it's off to the right master. So, thank you, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. And we'll see you next time on the Living World of Darkness, momentarily from now, Rage Across New York.